Good evening, everyone. I'm coming to you live. I am starting to post these live ones on YouTube. So if you see this on YouTube, it's a recording from a Facebook Live. I'm Rory Sears. I'm Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And here is the host code. It's B734ZHH9 if you can't read my writing. And this time I do believe it's correct. Use this host code and it will put you in for a drawing for free stuff. If your order is above $150, don't worry about using the host code. You'll get your own host rewards, but you'll still be put in a drawing with me for free items. We have a few announcements because there are good things happening at Stampin' Up! And one of them is our Welcome In kit. Our paper pumpkin kit is coming in June 10th, meaning that you have to sign up by June 10th to get this, and then it ships out after that. All right, and the colors are in our coordinates with our suite, the Countryside Inn suite. Okay, we're going to be actually using these dies tonight. What's nice about it too is there is a die set with this number that you can order ahead of time that matches the stamp set that is in the paper pumpkin. So if you want to get that, I would get that soon before it sells out. The awesome thing about the month of June is there is a paper sale. So a lot of the designer series paper, not the specialty paper, but the designer series paper, a lot of what we're using tonight is 15% off, and I'll show you some of those. Also, we're having a sign up bonus. So if you sign up with me as your demonstrator or your upline, you will be able to pick $155 worth of product for only $99. It's a great deal, even if you just want to shop and spend that money and think about, whether or not you want to sell to others. That's fine. A lot of people are just what we call hobby demonstrators. They make their own sales quota. That was me before. But you get $155 worth of products for $99 and free shipping. And then after that, you get your discount. So if you're interested, let me know. Don't forget the online exclusives. Those are online, obviously, and not in our catalogs. And I'm even using a ribbon today that you can only order online. There's kits that you should be checking out online too. There's a confetti birthday kit. And a week from today, June 10th, we are having a retired stamp sale at my house. So I have a lot of retired stamps. I've collected them throughout the year. I'm the kind of person that almost buys the whole catalog, and then I decided that I don't have enough room to store everything and I don't use everything. I only use what's new, so I'm trying to get rid of the things that are not in the newest catalog. So I have a ton of stuff to get rid of. If you want to stop by my house, let me know. I may show some stuff online if you're interested. All right. Hi, Joanne. Joanne's here tonight, which is good because she just reminded me, it's a drawing night. Why did she remind me? Because she's one of the participants that could be drawn. All right. So I think we will do a call for retired embellishments. So if you win, if you get drawn tonight, we will be able to choose from the adhesive flower trinkets. One of my favorites, the Milky Dots, the Matte Black Dots, the Faux Sea Glass Shapes, all unopened, or this ribbon, which is now retired. It's silver edged, and it's a very vanilla color, and then the white crinkled seam binding ribbon that's really cool to color with your blends, or just leave white. So whoever wins can choose from those things. And since Joanne's here, she can tell me if she's one of the winners, which I'm pretty sure she's going to be. because I try and usually give everyone who orders something. So the first winner is Kathy. So Kathy will get to pick what she would like. And then the next winner, oh, look at that. It's Joanne. So Joanne, is there something that you would like here? I'll set it aside for you. You let me know. And then we'll go on and on. All right. So, like I said, 15% off paper, month of June. We're going to do some cute cards today, all of which I've designed myself. One, what's this? Needs a little help, but we're going to fix it. And so let's start with our catalog and see what we're using today. We're going to look at our beautiful annual catalog. Who does this? Who is like, oh, annual catalog. I love looking at you and dreaming of the pages and seeing what's in there. I flip through this all the time and say, oh, that's a cute card. I should make that one. Or, ooh, look at the pink stripes on that. Dot second from the right. The milky dots. Those are cool. So we'll give you those, Joanne. Okay? I will send those out to you. So new is our annual catalog. All right. And here we go. Look at how bright and vibrant this page is. So we're on page 103. We're going all the way to 103. And we're looking at the Masterfully Made suite. The Masterfully Made or Gorgeous, it's also the Gorgeous Made bundle is in the Masterfully Made suite. We are going to be using the paper. We are going to be using the sequins. We are going to be using the stamp set. And we are going to be using the dies, which are awesome. Then we are going to be using, we are going to be using on page 111, Fresh as a Daisy. All right. We're going to be using the stamp set, the dies, the paper. We're not using those. We used those last week in a different one. I like to change it up a little. We're going to be using on page 126, cardstock vellum. If you don't have some of this, you should always have some of this in your stock. On page 127, you're going to be so excited about this. We are going to be using the Luster specialty paper. It is fabulous. It's in the new in colors. Then we are going to, I already told you, we're going to be using the Fresh as a Daisy. So when I say there's 15% off paper, some of the papers are this paper, this paper, this paper. This is on page 130. This paper, this paper, this paper, this paper, this paper, this paper. All those are 15% off in the month of June. And this paper, which we're using, this paper is 15% off, and this one, which I just ordered. All right. Then we're going to be using, on page 137, our blending brushes. Aren't those fabulous? Oh, Color Street Nails again. We are going to be using our enamel effects basics in a different way than we did last week. Those we're using the white, so it's in the pearlized, not the metallic bunch. All right. And then look at all this fun stuff. We are going to be using on page 140 the Festive Pearls. They're festive, but you can use them all year round. And then on page 141, we're going to be using the 2023-2025 in color dots that are gorgeous. And then, like I said, the adhesive back sequence trio is also on page 141. Let's look at our ribbon that we're going to use. One of the ribbons is online, so you'll have to look for it there. We're going to be using linen thread, and the other two really don't have ribbon on them, so that's cool. We are going to be using some dies. We're going to be using our Countryside Corner dies on page 156. We're going to be using these dies, but they're bundled with the Cheerful Daisies. And we're going to be using the Gorgeously Made dies, of course. We've already looked at that. We're going to be using one of the coolest ones, the Gorgeous Garden dies. We're going to be using those, and they're on page 164. Okay, almost done. And then we're going to be using some stylish shape dies because I'm changing my card around. And there's something else on here we were going to use. Oh, this really cool one wanted to say on page 167. Last but not least, I couldn't get away from this embossing folder. I think I'm going to be using it all the time. The Exposed Brick embossing folder on 168. All right, so my first card, we're going to change up a little bit, and I'll explain why. The first card we're going to make is this one. Isn't it pretty? Pretty and bright. And the reason is because I used the Stitch rectangle dies, and we do not sell those anymore. There's many options for using the Stitch rectangle dies. You could, if you've already bought them, use them. You could measure out these, and I can measure them for you and just cut 4 strips of paper out. You can use different shapes. You can use the deckled edge rectangles. There's little label dies in many sets that you could use. So there's a lot of different things that you could do. But I said, well, why don't we try it in circles? So I think we'll try having circles in the background and see what that looks like. All right, so this is going to be our first card. And it has great colors. Forgot to tell I'm using mauve is our color of the new in color of the day. And that's what's down here, Moody Mauve. And we're going to have a card in Moody Mauve today. It's hard because I'm still in love with the wheat color. That is not everyone's favorite, but I'm using it on a card today, and you'll love it. It makes it look like gold. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So let's pull out some of our cool stuff. So we're using Berry Burst. Berry Burst is a nice, bright, pinky color. It's gorgeous. We should be using our bone folder if I can find it. Here it is. All right. So we got my card cut 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Then I'm going to take a nice piece of not whisper white, basic white, and we're going to put it into our thick embossing folder. The exposed brick embossing folder is a thicker one. It is my new favorite. I used it last class. I'll try and use variety. I try to use variety with you guys, but you know, sometimes you just fall in love with something and you use it. So if you get motion sickness, let me know. I'm going to move my camera over to my Stampin' Boss cut machine, and I don't want you to get sick. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, there's my Stampin' Boss cut machine. Now we're going to put layer 1, our embossing folder, which is a thick one, and then 4. So this is plate number 4. All the plates come with your Stampin' Boss cut machine when you buy it. There's no guessing. It's obviously different if it isn't a thick embossing folder. It's a different layering, but we can show you that sometime. And then we just take that out. I'm going to put that there because we're going to be doing die cutting, more die cutting. And this is that exposed brick. I love it. I think it is so cool. All right, so that's the exposed brick. I'm going to turn you back to our mat. We're back to our mat now. a little closer than before. Do you guys like the exposed brick? I should have asked you if you wanted me to do a different folder. All right. So the first thing we're going to do before we adhere on anything, I had basically said, okay, so what do we do with wild and colorful paper that we really like, but it might be just too much? And then the answer is to basically cut it up into shapes like that, and then put your item, flowers, saying whatever you want on top of it, right? And so I use these, but we can use different shapes. So then I cut out with the stitch circle die, this one right here. I cut out some circles, and I thought we could use them instead, like that, right? That's just as pretty. And if you didn't like them all like that, you could flip one over. You could flip one over and do that, right? Yeah, that's cute too. It's a little bit more of the paper on the, but I think it's going to look okay. Because look at that. And you can do this with any paper. So, you know, the Country Inn paper, you could use the blues, you know, and do this in blue. Maybe I need smaller ones. Or maybe a vellum one. Maybe I'm all floral. We'll see. This is play, right? We play. So there's that. You can put color on your exposed brick. I thought it would look good with some Berry Burst ink. But then I did it, and then I didn't like it, and so I changed it. But play with things and see if you like it. That's what I do before I have class. I want to show you this set because it's a really cool set. So the set, you can make your own background papers, right, with these really cute stems. Has some writing, has hello, thank you, you're a great friend, and then again some background. It also has fabulous dies that coordinate. It has this edge that will show you like a tear. And this one, which we're using today in Pretty Peacock, and this one, which we're using in white. This one gives you like a notebook edge. And this one is a nice little one for saying. So if you wanted your great friend and have that out like that. All right, so that's the gorgeously made bundle. And so let me show you the first one. This is our easier card today. The other cards aren't hard, but they're just a little more work. What's cool about this, you can lay it flat, but also see how these are, see this line right here? These are actually separated and cut. So you can actually poke this through to create some dimension in the leaves if you wanted to, and see, and do that. Okay. And so you can do that, and you can take the time to do that. I'm not going to because my card has enough detail, but you can definitely do that. I think it's cool. So now what I'm going to do is what I usually do is I build my card before I put everything down. And then see, I think that looks good. I think that looks okay. And I don't think that I need to change the circles. You can. You can make it just one circle, you know, and do that. And that would be pretty, or have it off to the side like that. But I think I like the 3 circles. Okay. So I'm going to use the 3 circles. And even though it's cut off the same paper, the same cool paper, you get different colors in the background. So we'll put this one up here. There is some writing on it, so I'm making sure that the writing is face up and doesn't look upside down. Hi, Erin. You don't often make it to my classes, so I've decided to do that, right? So now I'm going to start building this. And we're going to use our Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay. And then I'm going to put one like that. The paper is so pretty. That's part of my problem. I have too much paper, too much stuff to use. But it's fun to have a variety of stuff to choose from when you go to make cards. And that's my favorite, is having lots of stuff to choose from. So that's why I do need to purge some of my stash, and that's why I have the sale once a year at my house, which is next weekend. So it's a good sale if you can make it. And now I'm going to use some glue dots to put this die cut down. I use glue dots that are left over from my paper pumpkins, because I love those. And I will have some of those on sale next week too. If you don't know what paper pumpkin is a kit that comes to your house once a month. You can order it one time. You can order it to come all the time. You can have it as a subscription, and then if you have to skip that month, you can skip that month. It's really cool. And so now I'm going to put that there. Isn't that pretty? Like that. Yeah. Hi, Karen. Karen is tardy. There's no late to stamping. You get here when you get here, and you can do what you can do. There's no worries. No worries with stamping. We're changing to circles, Karen, because we no longer have those stitched rectangles, and I thought that looked cool with the circles. That's okay. Now we're going to put our Stampin' Seal Plus on the back, and we're going to take our twine, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times, because I like 3s. So that there's, 3. And I want it to meet in the middle, so you can move your string around, like that. All right, and then it'll adhere to the Stampin' Seal that you put there. And now we can put this down. And because we have all this great paper that we can buy, that's what I'm going to show you tonight, is how to use all your beautiful paper. So now we have that on that Berry Burst. Love that Berry Burst color, don't you? Look how pretty that is. And then I said, we need a ribbon right there. Of course we do, right? Of course we need a ribbon right there. And so I liked the white glittered organdy ribbon. Now this is not in your main catalog, but it is orderable online. It's part of the online exclusive products, so you can still order it. And I just, as a demonstrator, got to pre-order some stuff that is actually Christmas themed. Yep, next month you guys will be able to order it, and it'll be Christmas themed. Isn't that cool? And now to make this complete, ta-cha! Look at those. Aren't those pretty? So these are your adhesive back sequins. Oh, I forgot the sentiment. And it's such a tiny sentiment, but it's so important. So this, I made a little hello card. So see how little that hello is? And instead of just putting it on a white piece of paper, I was looking at the scraps that I had from cutting out the rectangles. And I said, wouldn't it be cool just to do a little hello on there? And so that's what I did. I took my Versamark. And so you can stamp on your designer paper. You can use your designer paper for a lot of things. You can cut shapes out of it. You can stamp on it. It doesn't just have to be background paper, right? And so I love using designer paper. I usually use it on most cards. Ignore any. And so I'm using the white embossing powder. I think I put it there. Yeah. And then I'll just heat that with my gun. So we Versamarked, we used heat embossing powder. We're going to use our gun, and I'm going to heat that up. You're going to hear some noise for a moment, but hopefully that'll be quick. And I hope you guys take advantage of the paper sale because there's a lot of cool paper. Yeah. So we're going to heat that. See, it's just a little scrap of paper we're using. It's so cool. Finish that O. Right, and then all I did was I cut the little hello out. There's no specialty catalog. There are online exclusives. No specialty catalog as of yet. There will be a holiday catalog. But they have now online exclusives that are there for whenever they're there. And they come and go as they please. And so I thought that was cute to just put that little hello right there. Isn't that nice? And it ties in because it pulls in that freesia that's there, and there. Okay, so I put that with small little dimensionals. Yeah, I switched to circles. Yeah, you didn't miss much, Karen. Yeah, it gets a little confusing when there's online stuff, this stuff. But basically, my advice is if you see it and you want it, buy it. Otherwise, it could go away. You don't want to miss out if there's something you really like. The Stampin' Up stuff, luckily, has very good resale value. There are a lot of people that look for retired stuff. So even if you wanted to, you could resell it. See that little hello? I think that's so cute. All right. And now the bling. Yeah, I can't wait for the holiday catalog. Here it is. It's not even June. Oh, it is June. I was saying it's not even June yet. It is June. It's June. I think for this one, I'm going to pick a little more pinks. I think I want it on the white a little bit. And then have some whites. Sorry. So this is your take your pick tool. Maybe a white one here. And then maybe a green one there. Oh yeah, I like that pretty peacock on there. Pretty peacock is a color du jour because I'm using it on 2 different cards today. Right there, yeah. So do, and then maybe one more up here next to that one. Yeah. Very cool, right? And so there's our card. Now, compare it to your other one. It looks a totally different look, but similar styles. So just different ways of using your vibrant designer paper. But like I said, you could use these examples for anything. So say you had Christmas paper and a little Christmas tree, right? You could do birthday paper and some balloons, floral weddings and a floral wedding saying. You can use these templates and shapes in the background for any purpose. So, all right. So there is that. That is the gorgeously made bundle with the masterfully made suite, and sequins are so cool. Look at how many you get. You get a ton. How many are in here? 300. So you get 300 sequins when you buy this. It's a pretty good deal. All right. So there's card number 1. Card number 2. Took me a little while to style, but I love it. It used the, I don't know what it's called, Fresh as a Daisy paper. In the front, the first sheet, they have these that have little squares already cut out, you know, so that you can cut out and put on your cards. So that's really cool. So you would cut out this or even like that and put it on your card. So they're kind of different ones that you can cut out and put on your card. And I cut out this one. Isn't this card beautiful? I love this card. All right. And so I cut out that one and I cut it down actually. So I have not Whisper White. You know which one I'm talking about. Basic White. I will forever, after 10 years of calling it Whisper White, it's hard to change. Really is. So this is the thick cardstock for the background. This is that piece of paper I cut from the daisy paper. Isn't that pretty? And on the other side is that beautiful mauve. Okay. So I said, we need to pull this color out, that wild wheat that I'm in love with. It looks amazing next to the peacock. Isn't that pretty? Almost makes it look like gold, I think. Like a gold. It is by far. I love the new in colors. I know people thought, oh, they're a little dusty. They're not. I'm all about them. And the new in colors are brighter too. So it's like we have a great palette to work with. We have pastels. We have brights. We have fashionable colors. I went to a graduation last night and someone was wearing wild wheat dress. I swear to you. And she looked amazing. Amazing. Now look at that. Isn't that beautiful to start? Isn't that a great start? And all I did was glue paper together. All right. The next thing I did is I took the scrap from the bottom of this when I cut it. See how you have these little scraps? And I decided, I want to make the inside a little more interesting. And so I'm going to glue it right there on the bottom. So we're going to take our Tombow glue and we're going to flip that over. We're just going to put a little bit of glue goes a long way. A little bit of glue down there. And we're going to put that right at the bottom. I think it makes it look a little sharp. A little sharp, it makes it look sharp. There we go. Isn't that great? Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to close that because now I want to look at the back and make sure nothing hangs over. And then I'm going to take our paper snips and we're going to cut that right on the edge there. Beautiful. So I think that's a neat little thing to do for your inside. Anyway, so we got the beautiful part of our card done. Then I took one of our countryside dies, one of these. So cool. I'm going to take that. I'm going to do two things to this. We're going to stamp the saying up on top. And there's different sayings for this set. Let me get out the cheerful daisies. All right. So they have, you made my day. Oops, a daisy, so sorry. Wishing you the brightest birthday. And your friendship means everything. I liked these two. Someone had requested some birthday cards, so I chose that one. So, of course, I took my pretty peacock. Love this color. I wasn't, I have to be honest, I wasn't excited. I was like, okay, pretty peacock's coming back. And then I'm using it tonight. I'm like, wow, this is a great color. It's great for blending. It's great to make an ombre look, which we're going to do just right now after I stamp this. So we're going to stamp this. And this is the hardest part for anyone who's doing videos, is lining things up when you're not over top of them. So we're going to let that ink sit in. And it's crooked. It's crooked. So let's do this. Flip it over. There are two sides to every piece of paper. And you're going to see my head. because it's hard to do. I'm going to move it down a little bit. It's hard to do when you're not. Hopefully that looks okay. Does that look straighter? That looks better. Yeah. So you should be not videotaping when you're making your cards. And now we're going to take our blending brush. All right, and put it directly to the ink pad. Tap it off a little bit on the bottom. And then I'm going to go back and forth on the bottom. And unfortunately, my video is connected to the desk, so hopefully it won't shake. And I'm going to keep adding color. Bottom first and then coming up. Bottom first, and coming up. And see how you're starting to get that ombre effect, darker to light? Can you see that? Oh, I got a lot of shadow in here, don't I? All right. So that's the kind of look we're going for. And so I'm going to start right there at that bottom and make that bottom darker. And then keep coming up here. Starting at the bottom, making that darker. Keep coming up. Isn't that so cool? Isn't that pretty? All right. You can add more color if you want to, but I'm going to stop there. Put my pretty peacock away for now. All right. Yep, just for now. And isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. So these dies, let's talk about the dies because I used a lot of them. So these dies. So this one big die comes out as one piece. So I took this one and I took the wild wheat, right? And we cut out a piece like that. And that was the base of this. Okay. And then I said, well, I want my leaves to be the pretty peacock. So I took out the same die, but I only had to use a little piece of my scrap and I ran it through like that. And so now we're just going to glue that onto there. Okay. So again, we're just going to take our Tombow. And I can't wait for you guys to see the next card with that die. It is so cool. And we're going to be using we're going to be using mauve and pebbled path. And we're using some of that luster paper. And some of our adhesive paper. Oh, it's so cool. And then you can leave it as a shadow if you want, but I liked to have it like that. And so there you have your leaves. And I do like a little gold shadow popping out, but that's up to you how you like it. Okay. So we have that part done. And I did cut out another pair of those leaves just for later. Now there's a die that cuts out this. And of course I had to have more pretty peacock, so we cut out that. And then there are 3 dies. Oh, there's so much to show you with this one. Here. There are 3 dies for the flowers. The inside and then the outside, and the inside and the outside. Now, if you're stamping the flower, you just need the outside. So we're going to need this one because we're stamping one of our flowers. But then I took the inside of each one of these and I cut those in white. So I took this one, and this one, and I cut them in white. And the reason is so that I could put them right here. Okay. But then I was like, it needs a little something. And my husband said, well, he goes, I like the lines on them better. And so what I did is then I stamped the stamp on these to give them that extra bit of detail. And I'll do one. So those are the white pieces I took out. Everyone understands, and I stamped on them. This is one that still needs the stamping. So I take the coordinating stamp that goes with that, which is this one. And I get out my wild wheat. And then I ink it up. And then I line it up. You know how good it is when you're trying to do it online. Okay. And then you get those marks. Very cool, right? So that gives it a little more detail. So we did that. And now we adhere each one of those with your Tombow glue to that flower. And this is, you can do this card in any color you want. You just find whatever paper you want to put it on. You stamp your own background paper. You could do this in blues and yellows. You can do it in pinks and yellows. You can do it whatever colors you want, because we have a variety of color. And so then we just put that down here, right here, right there. Isn't that pretty? I love the extra stripes. So that was Dave's idea, because I was like, it's just not quite right. And Dave's like, it needs more detail. So I love that my husband's honest. I might not like it all the time that he's honest, but I love that he's honest, because then I always know that he's telling me the truth. When he says something look good, it looks good to him. When he says it doesn't look good, I know it doesn't look good. I might not want to hear it, but he's a wonderful guy. And it's actually this week I took some vacation days because it's actually our 20th anniversary. Seems like just yesterday we were married. Doesn't seem like we've been married. Well, you want to line these up, sorry. Don't talk while you're trying to line up your stuff. I say it doesn't seem like, but we've been married that long, but he knows me better than anyone knows me, you know? And so I'm going to put this die away. But there's all these tons of dies. Like, look at how many dies are in this set. So much fun to play with. Don't get overwhelmed when there's a lot of dies in this set, right? Just think there's just a lot of things to play with. You don't have to use them all. You can just pick one and play with one. You could, you know, but there's even one for the sayings, if you want one for the sayings, one for the middles of the flowers. It's just, don't get overwhelmed. Use what you have. Use what you want to use. You don't have to use everything in the set. All right, now we're going to take our bigger flower. Oh, so cute. We're going to stamp it in wild wheat. I love the wild wheat and peacock together. It's just a great color combo. And then we're just going to stamp that. Let the ink soak in. Lift up. Great color. And now we're going to put a little center. And I don't even think this is the right center for this, but it's the center I liked. You just do what you want, right? So there's different centers and the stamps that you can pick on your daisies. And I picked this one because it was nice and big. And I wanted it in peacock to match. Who's seen a center of a daisy that was peacock? Not me, but you can make it anything you want in the Stampin' Up! World. All right, now we're going to take this and we're going to cut that out and see how nicely it lines up. Easy peasy. I didn't have to flip that around, search for it, just lines right up. And now we're going to use our Stampin' Boss cut machine. So if you get seasick, please avert your eyes. Here we're going over. Now, we have plate number 1. Then we put down plate number 2 because we're using dies. Then whatever plastic plate you have, I always keep my dirty one down. Your dirty one down, and then your clean one on top. Once your dirty one starts getting too bad, you move your clean one to the bottom and you get a new clean one. Right? And then you just send that right through. Oh my. Hi, Tamara. I didn't expect to see you here tonight. So there is the flower we're using. Here's the ombre piece that we just did with our sponges. And now we're going to start building our card. So we have the base here. And the next part is this. Okay. So I want this to be lifted up a little, so we're going to use some dimensionals. Dimensionals make everything better. We had an awesome weekend last weekend, didn't we, Tamara? It was like beautiful weather. Can the weather be been any better last weekend? Made me not want to go to work. All right. And then there is that. Isn't that pretty? Love the pretty peacock. Okay. And now I want to raise this on that. Okay. So because my white flower is going to be over that, I know I can put my dimensionals under here and here and they won't be seen. Okay. So I'm going to put a dimensional here and a dimensional here. And that one's thick enough where it won't be seen. So you don't want your dimensionals to show through. Does that look good right there? Yeah? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, and then we have this piece. And so we put some dimensionals on that. And then we're going to sneak that kind of like that. How's that? Good? And now all we have are two little leaves to put in. So I'm going to put a little dimensional on the back of that, just like that. See that? And then we're going to sneak that underneath here. Good. And then I used a glue dot on this one. And so I'm just picking up a glue dot, putting them on the back here. And then that way I can tuck this in underneath the flowers where I want it. You want to make sure it stays off the edge, which it is, and sneak it down. And then there. And then there's that. Now we just have a few embellishments to put on it. And believe it or not, I chose these, even though they're red, green, gold, and silver, because these right here, the lighter green ones, looked like the lighter ombre here. So just going to use my take your pick tool. And of course, everything is more difficult when you're on camera. I'm going to put that right there because there's a little spotch there that I want to cover up from my inking process. And then we'll put one right down there. And don't they look pretty on here? I love adding little embellishments. You can put them on the flowers. You can put them on the leaves. You can put them all around. I like 3 on this card. You might want to put more if you want to. And then there is that card. Yeah. If you want malleable, don't put as many dimensionals. But I like dimension in my cards. So, is it malleable? It probably is. It's not that many dimensionals. One of my friends will put a piece of cardboard like this outside the envelope and mail it like that, meaning one envelope inside another envelope that has the cardboard against that, if you understand what I mean, Joanne. But if you want to make it safe, then don't put so many dimensionals. But it's pretty, right? So that is card number 2. Card number 3 is exciting. It's like the Love Boat, exciting and new. Everything's exciting and new when there's a new catalog, right? And we're going to be using all kinds of stuff. All right. So this is using the luster paper. It's using, can you see how that shines, that paper? Isn't that cool? It's using the metallic enamel dots. It's using the colored embellishments, some vellum in the back. Some of the daisy paper, believe it or not, is right in there. And so let's show you that. We are using first the Moody Mauve, the in color of the week. Moody Mauve. It's a beautiful color. Beautiful. Yeah. And then you can see this is the luster paper. It's pretty thick. It's a good, see how shiny it is? It's a little different. It looks like a little bit different. It looks more different on the video than it is in real life, but it's a little bit different shade than the mauve, but you can see when you put them together, they look well together. Okay. And then this paper, not my favorite on this side, but the Pebbled Path brush on this side is gorgeous. So I use that as the base. And this one, you had to cut a little bit bigger than my usual because of the die. The die is a little bit longer. Okay, so this is actually cut at 5 1/4 by 4. Usually I do, no, it's got to be more than 5 1/4 by 4. Yeah, sorry. It's 5 1/2 by 4. Okay, so it's just under 5 1/2. Okay, and the reason is because the die is so big. So let me get out the die. Apparently I put that away. So in this die set, it is the Gorgeous Garden dies, or are the garden dies. This is the one we're using. Okay. Index card. Yeah, you can put an index card too. And again, I cut this a little bit bigger at 5 1/2 by 4 because of the height of it. But the other die that comes in this set is sweet too. It's this beautiful leaf one. Isn't that gorgeous? So this die set is a really cool one to have. Makes great cards all on their own. And then we are using, after that, the Wanted to Say dies. Now the Wanted to Say dies have different sayings. They have a celebrate with a shadow, a happy birthday with a shadow, stars and flowers and bows, and that's a present. I didn't know what that was initially. And then they have you're too kind and feel better soon. So they have a lot of good sayings on those. So those are in the main catalog. So now again, avert your eyes if you get seasick. I'm going to show you the Stampin' Boss cut machine. We're going to run this through. It's going right now. Okay, so there's the Stampin' Boss cut machine. Again, you start with plate 1, your paper, plate 1, plate 2, your cutting plate, your paper, your die. Okay, and this is that luster paper. And you sometimes with Stampin' cut machines, you have to run them through twice. Nope, only have to run it through once. But you want to make sure when you run this through that it doesn't go crooked. You can tape it down. You can do whatever you need to do, but make sure it's not crooked. Doesn't matter if you're just cutting something out, but in this we're using it, the whole thing, as the background. So once it's there, press down, and that looks mostly good. Mostly good. Not quite. This never happens, you know, when you're just stamping in your room. It only happens when you're stamping on video. But at least you'll remember to make sure it's nice and lined up. What you can also do is cut it first and then, meaning put it through the big shot first and then cut the paper after. That's something you can do with this. So we're just running that through. pull that out. I'm going to move you right to here. And you can see all the pieces falling out, and you just pull it out. See? And this is where your Stamp and Boss tool comes in. No, your take a pick tool, where you can punch all these things out. But see how nice these are coming out? Not all machines will do that. We'll cut that well for you. Not all dies. So if you see the cheapy dies, so there's imitators out there that will sell you or try and sell the same exact thing. They copy the artwork from Stampin' Up, and they'll sell it to you very cheap. You get what you pay for. I would advise against using those websites. They're basically robbing from U.S. companies. For instance, Temu and all those websites. So just poking these out. But I can tell you, if I've never used their dies, but I would suspect that their dies would not work like these dies do. So if you want to, you're just going to take these out. See how cool this is? And I was going to do one in blue, and Dave's like, no, I like the mauve. So he did like this color. And don't use as much force as I did, because then you can tear things, but it's okay. It'll still look good. I love these big background dies. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think they're worth it. They make the whole card. I mean, this could be a wedding card. This could be, you know, an anniversary card. There's so many great things you can do with these cards, with these dies. You can make a stencil out of them, right? And there's the one I tore. So be careful. You can make stencils out of them. Of course, the one I use for sample, I never tear. Didn't tear at all. Everything came out fine. And you can see these come out really easy. Just got to take your time. I'm trying to speed things up because I'm on TV, on video. There are die brushes that we sell that you can use to scratch these out, and they come out easier. I actually don't mind. I find it relaxing to just look at the design, poke everything out, make sure everything comes out as I go around the design. That one might not come out. Oh, yeah, it does. Sometimes pulling from the back helps. Sometimes it doesn't. I hope this doesn't discourage you from getting the die, because it's not hard to poke everything out. And we're almost done. Didn't take too long. And then I'll show you the cool technique with the enamel dots. And then we're going to use this paper again on the saying, only we're going to use our adhesive paper to show you how you can adhere it easier once it's cut. All right, that looks pretty good. Of course, I keep missing ones. You can leave some in. Some people leave some in on purpose. Some look better being left in. Wow, isn't that pretty and how it shines? Have I lost you? Have I bored you too much? I'm off zoning because this is so relaxing. It's very relaxing just to sit here and do this. I think, oh, one more there. Oh, it's kind of already out, just sticking. Nope, and I forgot that one. And this one. And then this one. These I might leave in. So if they're easy to tear and they don't look bad, you might want to leave them in. But there. So, oh, I guess there's more than you think. All right, we're good there. Good. The only place I tore was right up there, but no one's going to know. No one will know. Look at all this pretty paper. All right. So now we move all that luster paper aside. And I have my card here. So I am actually going to use dimensions. You don't have to use dimensionals. Okay. You want to use ones that will not show through. So a lot of the ones you're going to use are the mini ones. And a lot of times I will do this. I will cut the edge like this, so it gives me a really thin line. We do have adhesive strips that are like this, that are foamy adhesive strips that have the same dimension. So you can use those and cut those to thin lines. So I did that. I cut these in thin lines so that I could do this, like right around the edge. See that? All right, so you can do that. You can take the little ones and put them here, put them here, put them on the big flowers, right? Good. And good. And so this takes some time, but you know, it's worth it if the card is pretty. And then we're just going to take more of that adhesive, thin strips, do around the edges. I'm going to do one up here. Do some over here. So make your adhesives work for you. Don't be confined. Don't be confined to anything. So when I was showing my friend one of my cards, she's like, well, why do you have the flowers like that? And I said, well, because the die is like that. And she goes, just cut them apart. I'm like, you're right. You can just cut whatever you want apart. You can make it your own. All right, so now we're going to peel all these off and put them on our background paper. And then we're going to put that on our card, and then we're more than 50% done. And all we did really was cut something out of a die machine. But we cut it on pretty paper, on the pretty luster paper. That paper is so pretty. And so when you buy that paper, you get 2 of each of the new ink colors in a 12 by 12 sheet. So it's quite a bit of paper. And most of the time you're going to be using it for accents and not big pieces like this. That's what I usually use it for, is accents, but it's great, pretty paper. All right. And with this kind of paper, you want to use something like dimensionals or some kind of heavier duty adhesive. All right, so we're going to lay this down. We're going to lay this down like here. Make sure our corners are covered. Good. Now I want to make sure that nothing's overhanging. We're overhanging a little on this side. So then I'm going to cut just a little rather than trying to pull up, right? Because to try and pull up all that stuff we just did would not be good. All right. So see how cool that looks? Layered like that and puffed up, so it gives it a 3D effect. So that's the first part of the card. Then we just put our adhesive on this. And I'm out of my stamping seal, so I'm going to just use a regular Tombow. And I'm sorry, all my scrap is getting in there. I need an assistant. That's what I need when I do one of these. An assistant to clear everything. So this is almost going to reach the top and the bottom on both sides, but not the edges. So it's going to leave a little bit of an edge on each side of the card. Okay. Good. Good. Good, good. I can't tell if that's straight. Yeah, that's straight. All right. See how pretty that is? Just like that. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, the saying, the easier part. This is Pebbled Path and that same lustered paper. Isn't that pretty? It looks like metallic shine. We're going to take a piece of our, as soon as I can find it, adhesive paper or adhesive sheets. See these? These are our adhesive sheets. You get 12 in a pack. You get a lot. Have I even used these? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like I've used this pack. So I want to pull one of these out. Sheets. Okay. And basically what it is it's double-sided adhesive. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of paper that I want to have adhesive on the back of after I cut, because that Celebrate isn't going to be fun to put adhesive on, right? It's just not. So I know it's going to be about that size. So now I find a little corner of this. Okay. Am I lifting up? Yep. I apologize. I'm making a mess with all those scraps. They're all over my floor. All over my desk. Let me just wipe them up. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to pull you back a little bit. I'm going to take this, pull that back, and then we're going to take our piece of paper, whatever side you want to be the back, put down. Okay, and so we're going to do that and that. Okay, so that's our side that we want down, and reseal it. And now we're just going to cut around it. Okay. Okay. So now we have an adhesive back piece of cardstock. Right? So this has adhesive on the back of it. All we have to do is peel that off. So now we're going to take our die. So we get out our Celebrate die. And we're going to use the Celebrate on there like that. The thinner one. Okay. The one that actually cuts it out. And this is the shadow die here. And so the shadow, we're using vellum. And I'll run them through at the same time. So again, to our Stampin' Boss cut machine. I'm going to put my vellum over here. I'm going to put my other one here. Make sure it stays on. Great. Take them both out. Can I use the double-sided adhesive to adhere? You can, but you might see the glue spots. You can, but you might see the glue spots. It's just like any other form of glue with vellum. It's hard sometimes with vellum trying to hide the glue. So this is the vellum piece. So this is the shadow die. If you were to have stickiness on the back of this, it could have some lines, but you could use it. What I tend to do is find where I'm going to have, if I'm using vellum, a spot that's going to be covered on top of it. And that's where I put the adhesive underneath it, if you know what I mean. And I'll show you in a second. So this comes out so pretty from the die. Look how nice that came out with the die. Very intricate. And now it has, it's like a sticker. So all you have to do, and of course, I say it's easy, is pull off the sticker backing. Right? So all we had to do is pull off that sticker backing. And now this is where you line it up on your shadow. One piece at a time. Celebrate. Isn't that pretty? So much easier than doing it with glue, right? And then you're done. So pretty and shiny. Thanks for understanding my crazy talk, Joanne. And then I'm going to put that on there. Now that is just a pretty card, just like that, right? But there's more. But you always got to do more. So now I am going to put some dimensionals on this, but I'm going to put it in spaces where I don't think people are going to notice. You don't have to put dimensionals. You can put glue dots. So I'm kind of putting them where there's letters that are thicker. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, you're watching the wrong demonstrator. I like to create, and I like to do things that are fun, and I don't want to fuss too much. Yeah, I don't like that. I must have. So, see, I don't like that. It's okay. And I didn't use dimensionals on the first one because you can see through. So I'm going to go back to my handy dandy glue dots, and that's what we're going to use because those don't show as much. I just showed you what not to do. That's why I did that. It's easier to show you what not to do, right? Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, so glue dots don't show as much as dimensionals because dimensionals are white, glue dots are clear, right? So use your glue dots. And so there you go. Yes, you can. And so see, that looks a lot better. And you can put this up here. Put it right there. I liked it right about there. Okay. And then what I did was I took these awesome, where'd they go? Where'd they go? These awesome embellishments, right? And the new in colors. And we have boho, and we have my favorite copper clay, and we have the mauve, and we have the wild wheat, and then these pebbled ones. Pebbled path, and I put some around. I put a nice big one, like right down here. And then I'll take that smaller one if it stops playing hard to get. Well, at least you know it sticks well. This is funny. I'm chasing it all around. All right, and then we're going to put it up there. And then we'll take a medium one and maybe right there. Yeah. Okay, now comes the cool part. Isn't this card cool? All right. Who do I have still on? I have my loyal ones, Karen and Joanne. We are going to take our pearlized enamel effects. And this is something you have to let dry. And remember, we used this last time with a stencil. But here, you're just going to squeeze a little. You stay in the same spot. And when you're done, you lift up. And so you're making basically your own enamel dots wherever you want. Oh, try not to move the card while you're putting it on. And don't worry about those if it comes up with like a Hershey Kiss, because just by doing this, it settles it down to a flat dot. Okay. And these obviously you have to let dry for some time. Usually a couple hours they're dry. But it's like having instant enamel dots. I've used these from other companies for many years. The ones that Stampin' Up! Give you are awesome. They don't clog as much as the ones that I've gotten from other companies. I do store them upside down. The bottle is really big. You get a lot in there. So wherever you want to put one, put one. I think I might do a little bit like that, a little less than my other one. But isn't that cool? And then doesn't that look like a great wedding card? Or it could be a birthday card, right? And so there is that card. I'm glad you ordered them, Karen. I think you'll like them. Just got to remember to let them dry. All right. And like I said, and if they don't look very circular, these do, but if they don't, you just want to take your card and just give it a little tap like that, and that helps it settle it. And here I did tinier dots around here. This one I just decided to do around these little ones. Okay. All right. I hope this was helpful. Sorry about all the, well, I'm not sorry. Those are normal life things that teaches you guys what to do and what not to do, right? I hope you had fun. I had fun making these cards. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, paper sale is on. Demonstrator discount is on. A lot of stuff going on. And I'm hoping to see you next week. And remember, I have a big sale at my house of retired items. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Otherwise, have a blessed week. Stay safe and enjoy the weekend. Thank you both.